So events, as we know, are often beautifully crafted, curated, a great time overall. But I feel like one thing that's often missed out on is ensuring that it's actually driving ROI. So when we think about events that we've either hosted or attended, I would love to know like one either event that you've attended, hosted, good, bad, ugly, that was memorable and why.
Yeah, I can share kind of my perspective from hosting events, especially in the med spa space. There's lots of different types of events, but I feel like the most successful have been around launches of new treatments or services that we're offering to kind of like help educate our clientele, our audience, like, hey, something new is coming into the business. Maybe give a discount on it so we can kind of launch that product or service. And then also, I think membership events or like VIP client appreciation, we've always seen like anytime you make that client feel special, like, hey, this is for you because you're VIP. You spend a lot of money with us. This is to kind of like give back to you. And then I always took like our highest profit margin products and services and packaged those. So anything that I could take a little bit of a hit on, like let's pre-sell those as much as possible. Let's push those as much as possible, get some guaranteed revenue in the door and let our clients have a good time.
Within the spa, industry, we definitely were very heavy on membership. So same for med spa world. We were doing that within the spa. And I feel like every single one that we did honestly was successful. I don't have any like too like crazy stories because it was something that everyone looked forward to each year. We would do it annually. And it was very much like appreciation and thank you for being a member. It was really cool because within our memberships, it was pretty like exclusive. Like we were making it like, wanting that exclusivity feeling. And there was actually a wait list. So I feel like being able to have, cool. I know. It's like, okay, I can't wait for somebody to like drop off so I can, jump in. But within those like specific events, you would have people asking like, oh, what's that? And like, how can I get involved? And it's like, we have a wait list. Here you go if you want to be join at some point.
It's like trying to buy a Birkin.
Exactly.
Oh my God, yes.
It was the Birkin of memberships, yeah.
I love that. My experience with events are like twofold. There's typically like a big announcement. So like I'm coming from like multi-location like management. So there are opening parties, right? We would open a brand new location and we would have parties to get the community involved, get, other businesses involved and really, like shout out who we are and what we're doing. So we did a lot of that. And then we did events in the middle of the day, like when the business was still flowing and things were like happening. So we would have like maybe like a brand at a time, like not like super big. So let's say we had like R&Co come in, right? They would talk directly with clients. They would work with staff even. So it was like this mixed like event where both team members were learning and then also we were having clients tap into the products and maybe get extra samples and miniature versions of things that, everyone loves a little mini product, right? So it was hard for me to really think about like shutting down the business to solely like do an event because some of our locations were so big and having so much going on. So we tended to layer them on top of like the day already flowing. So we didn't have to like focus so much on a guest list because people were already there. We were there and we could push the revenue, but still make it feel elevated, still get the champagne, still get the, decorations and still like announce and like let people know that this was going on. So I'm very like interested in what spas and like med spas do because it's such like a part of like the process. Like y'all do events like consistently and like drive them hard. So I would love to see what like hair can take away from some of this, No,
I love that you all shared positive experiences about, events that you've hosted, attended, whatever that might look like. I feel like when we think about maybe the first event that you ever hosted versus the last event that you ever hosted and how different those might be, I know from my own experience, when I think of one thing that I either wish I had known when I first started or one thing that I often see people do wrong, I think back to the first event that I ever hosted and it was like a smorgasbord of how many deals and things and offers can we fit on this flyer? How much information can I push to everybody? right? In my head, I'm thinking, okay, we're trying to sell everything. We can cross-sell, we can combine treatments, all of that. But in reality, it's not digestible for the client. That's not a good experience where you have so much information and offers coming to you where things start to not feel relative to what you're really there for. So would love to also hear from you guys. What's one thing that you wish that you had known, or one piece of advice that when you look back, you're like, this is what people should be doing for successful events?
My experience might be a little different from you all, but I'm definitely going to share it because I think it's still insightful. When I think of the first event at earlier in my management career versus where I was towards the end, it's more of it's okay that you don't have all the answers at the beginning. I think you're trying to do a lot. This might be your first time in this realm of opportunity of event planning. I remember thinking I need X amount of vendors. I need them to be able to, offer these amount of samples or gifts for my members or for whoever we were presenting to. But as you grew and as you continue to go, it's the brands will reach out to you and say, hey, I want to be a part of this. I heard Tyranny is doing this. Let me be a part of this experience. So I think it's just understanding that give yourself time, give yourself grace. You start off from the beginning and you kind of go your bottom up and you can you'll get there. Just network as much as possible and talk to the right brands when you're going to these events so that you can then have, a list of who you reach out to when you're throwing, these parties.
Yeah, absolutely, Jaws. I feel you start somewhere, what you know in the beginning. But really excited for our next guest, Anya, who's really cracked the code on making med spa events extremely successful and profitable. So looking forward to our conversation with her. We work in the beauty industry, so clunky software is just not the vibe. Boulevard is sleek, made for beauty pros, and gets you compliments, not complaints from clients. Podcast listeners can get 10% off plus free guided setup. So head over to joinblvd.com/podcast to claim the special offer. Today's guest has built her career at the intersection of beauty, strategy, and growth. Anya is the founder of The Aesthetics Advantage, a master esthetician, and a seasoned marketing strategist with over 12 years of experience. She's worked with global brands like Benefit Cosmetics, helped scale one of the largest aesthetic clinic chains in the US, and led partnerships with industry leaders like Sephora. Now she's helping practices grow sustainably through smart, cost-effective strategies. Anya, we're thrilled to have you with us today.
Med spas do events. They do it always the same exact way. It is a cattle call. They'll put it on their social media. They'll send out the email blast, the text blast. Hey, we're having this, event. Get your specials. Here's your deals. And then they spend all this money. You got the balloon wall. You've got the bullshit taco bar. You got they spend so much money on this. And then you get the Karens there who are literally there for the free shit and there for the raffle, and they don't buy anything. And they just spent all this money on what? Nothing. You have to be very, very specific and laser focused, no pun intended. And basically the way that you do small format events, and they're called small format seminar style events, is you pick one or two similar technologies and you only invite VIP patients. These are vetted patients. And you do max, you want 25 people there. Anything more and it's too much. What you do is you do a presentation on those treatments, and then you do one-on-one consults with those patients. And our events, they average $50,000 in 3 hours. And that's how you do it. Obviously, there's a lot more to it. And I'm not trying to gatekeep, but it will take all the time in the world. But I wish practices knew that more. And I'm actually starting to transition a lot of practices away from doing monthly specials and just doing events or quarterly events, a face event, a body event, a weight loss event. Whatever you want to do. Yeah, it's just it's just a different mindset, and it's much easier and cheaper.
Want to keep the conversation going? Check out the full episode of Last Client of the Day, now streaming on all platforms.